Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense, deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. So glad you're here today. I want to ask you what that word means to you, grit. Because grit, when I think about that, it's not the grittiness, the physical, tactile meaning of it. For me, grit means courage and resolve. It means that you got, as the definition is, strength of character. It's courage, it's bravery, it's tenacity, it's commitment, it's ruggedness. That's what grit means to me. And today's topic about overcoming adversity has everything to do with grit. Everybody knows that life isn't all rainbows and unicorns. You know that. Challenges and adversities are woven into the fabric of our lives here on earth. And they're here to serve us and to help us grow personally and spiritually. But what does it really take to overcome all these unexpected twists and turns and become a better version of yourself? Like, what does that really take? So many people come to me and they're struggling, and they're like, I just moved. I had this one client who came to me. She said she moved her family to Atlanta from, I can't remember, Denver, some place over there, up there. And she said, Janis, I moved here a month ago, left everything, quit my job for this new job, and I just got laid off. I have no other income. I don't have a ton of savings. I am what am I supposed to do? I've had people come who have had multiple losses in their family, and they are beside themselves, feeling just tremendous grief. What do I do, they say. I've had people who have experienced repeated disappointment, and they feel ultimately that they are defeated. And they come to me and they say, what do I do? Why does this keep happening to me? So when I think about talking about adversity, like anything, is along a spectrum. Most of what I want to focus on today is those things that happen, of course, things that are connected to adversity are unexpected. And that's just life, y'all. In another podcast, a former podcast, I talked about letting go or being dragged. And I talked about how the fact that if you push through life, you won't be able to receive. If you hold on to the reins and try to control everything without making room for things that will be hiccups, air pockets, obstacles, you are going to experience so much more pain and negativity in your life than you could ever imagine. So adversity is a natural part of our lives. I mean, it's kind of like the only thing that doesn't change is that change happens. That's what adversity is about. And if you are able to, I don't care what you've been through. I mean, I really do care, but I'm just saying, for example, for a mindset piece, whatever you have been through, it's not to hurt you, even though you may feel hurt or feel pain or feel sad or feel bad or be grieving. Things in your life that happen are not to hurt you. They are to teach you. They are to help you grow. And they are to help you your soul's purpose succeed. What I'm going to do today, because I know my clients really appreciate having concrete things to think about and concrete things to do. I know I do. If I go to somebody for help, I'm like, I don't want to hear theories. I don't want to hear just thoughts. Give me something to do. Tell me what to think about. Tell me how to say something. Give me a specific action that I can take so that I don't feel this again, or that I don't go through this again, or that I can fix this. I know I was talking with a friend of mine the other day. I was struggling with something. And kind of I came out of the struggle, and I told her, I said, the biggest thing for me at this point in my life is that I do not want to sit in pain. I don't want to be hurt. It doesn't mean I can't be aware of my feelings or that I'm not going to feel pain, but I want to make sure I end that pain as quick as possible. So my focus is always to figure out what the purpose of pain is, what the purpose of adversity, what the purpose of the uphill battle is, what the purpose of why things don't work out over and over again. I want to know so that I can move forward and be better and do better. So anytime anything happens to me, I have to move through the emotions. We're going to talk about that today. But I want to take action on things. And so I do. And I want you to think about that as I talk about that today. So, like I said, we're all going to be going through adversity throughout our lives. And I guarantee you, if you look back on your life, you would see the pockets where things happen to you. Maybe you're a child of a military parent, call them military brats. And you stay in one place for maybe every year you're moving. When you make friends, and you got to move, and you make friends again, you got to move. And then before you know it, you're like, it's not even worth me making friends because I'm just going to be yanked out, plucked out, and again, have to reestablish my life. And then maybe later on in your life, you want to go to school, and you apply to the school of your choice, like this is the place you want to go, and you don't get in. And you feel destroyed. You're like, that was my only option. I remember a friend of mine had pledged to a sorority years ago when we were in college. And she truly, really, really, really wanted to be in the sorority. And they didn't accept her. And she absolutely felt horrible, so rejected. And I think because she didn't necessarily know how to overcome that, it truly put a dent in her. And she felt terribly rejected and didn't know what to do with that rejection. So today I want to talk to you about how to experience adversity as an advantage instead of a disadvantage. I'm going to give you some steps, some things to think about so that you can start living a better life. So that you don't have to feel like life always sucks and it's so bad and like you're the magnet to everything bad. Like every time you walk out of the door, all of a sudden it starts to rain. I don't want you to think like that. First thing I want to talk to you about is, as usual, because Spirit uses me, I'm very straight and very direct. I really want you to stop thinking that you're a target or a magnet for bad things happening to you. Because you're not. In the sense of the fact that that's not what your life is meant to be. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. What I mean by that is, if the same things keep showing up for you, you've got to look at that. You have to look at, what am I not doing or what am I missing? I'm not interested in you going into the whole blame victim thing. Don't do that. What I want you to do is look at this pattern. And what is it that I'm not doing so that I can figure out what to do to change the pattern? A lot of times we can't figure those things out on our own. Sometimes we have to go talk to a friend. Sometimes it's best to go talk to a neutral party who's trained, like a therapist or a counselor or a coach, somebody who can ask you questions to really help you think about what this pattern's about and what you can do to change it. So I don't want you to think that you're this unlucky magnet where you keep stepping from one pile of shit to another and you can't change that. It's not true. Until you realize that adversity exists to build you up, to make you stronger, to tap into that courage and that fight in you, you will forever feel that you are defeated. So I want you to really stop thinking that life is happening to you or at you, because, honey, it isn't. It is always happening for you. The second thing I want to offer for you in terms of how to deal with adversity is to develop resources of support. It could be one person. It could be a group of people. It could be like I said, a neutral party, a therapist, a counselor, a coach. Surround yourself with people. Get involved in a group. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you, who've gone through things that you've been through, who not necessarily who've gone through things and just sit in the pain, but who've used them to better their life. Be around people who challenge you, who are resources, mentors, and lean into that community of support. If you don't have those, maybe you're a shy person, maybe you don't even know where to turn. Here's what I can do. The first thing I can do is tell you to reach out to get therapy or coaching around this. Period. End of story. First step, get help to understand what's going on in your life that isn't working. And slowly but surely, if you have a good therapist, somebody who knows what they're talking about and who can get you from point A to point B fast so that you can take action in your life, that's what I want you to do. The third thing I want you to think about is when adversity happens, I want you to neutralize your emotions. What I mean by that is give yourself some time. Maybe the experience, adversity experience, the challenge is really overwhelming and it feels excruciating. Okay, so give yourself some time to feel that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to process it. Process the emotions that are connected to it. I don't want you to be reactionary. I want you to process because you've got to be able to have a release for these emotions in order for you to think clearly and use your experience. So in order to process and use your adversity to your advantage, you got to neutralize the emotions that are connected to it. And it may mean that you exercise. It may mean that you journal. It may mean that you go into therapy, coaching or counseling. Whatever it is, to get those emotions out, understand them, and then figure out how you're going to move forward. That's the third suggestion I have. The fourth one I have is take a time out. A lot of people forget about how important and how beneficial being in nature is. A walk outside with nobody, following you, but just to walk outside in nature, being among the trees, feeling the weather, just being able to feel the warmth and love of the earth and of the universe and of the environment is an amazing experience. I talk a lot about in my work about grounding. If it's not too freezing cold, or whatever, you can do this in the rain too. But take your shoes off and your socks off and walk on some grass. If you're near a beach, walk on the sand. Go in the ocean, stick your feet in the water. Whatever you can do to ground yourself and feel connected to the earth, let it love you. The universe is an amazing thing, and nature, without a doubt, was created for our benefit, for our protection, and for our enjoyment. So I ask that you put your adversity on pause and be in nature, because it's a wonderful thing. The fifth thing I want to talk to you about is learning how to reframe your adversity into opportunity. I talk about this a lot. Looking at things differently, not thinking that life is happening to or at you, but knowing that it's useful. Every single thing that happens to you, even including your mistakes and your fuck-ups and all of that, everything is a learning opportunity. I know that sounds corny, but I'm serious about it. Everything is a learning opportunity. It's just a matter of how you perceive it. And again, if you don't have the capacity when something in particular happens, you don't have the capacity to think of it as an opportunity, you're just too pissed and you're just too hurt, go talk to somebody who has that capacity. I happen to be somebody, it's kind of harder for me when I'm in kind of the throes of feeling frustrated or sad or whatever. I have maybe a harder time. So I have certain people around me that I go to. I know their personalities. I know what they can give me. And I target that person who can say, hey, Janis, wait a minute. You need to think about it this way. Maybe take this step, take that step. And it's a relief because it just means I'm not struggling all by my lonesome. But overall, and it's funny, I had somebody say this to me the other day. They're like, Janis, you seem to have all the perfect answers for everything. And I'm like, well, that's nice. And thank you. But that's not true. I have my perspective. I've been doing this a long, long time. I've helped a lot of people. And most importantly, I have my own life experiences, my own wisdom, and my own growth. So if you ask me a question, I will always be somebody that will create options. Always, always, always. It's what I do for a living. It's how I help people. And it's how I've learned to help myself. Because I know we are never trapped. Ever, ever. I don't care. And this person, it was funny because this person is a black and white thinker. I'm like, there's always option C. It's not just A or B. There's always C. There's always D. Or maybe there's just C. But at least there's a third option. So I always am option developing with people, creating, thinking, thinking out of the box. And so I want you to be able to, if you don't have that skill set, either go develop it or seek out somebody who can provide you with that so that you can, again, turn your adversity into an advantage. Number 6 is identify your ideal outcome and take action in that direction. Refocus. Look at what you got going on. For example, you're off to a meeting and you have the intention of being on time. And guess what? You get a flat tire. You're like, shit, this is a very, very important meeting. Oh my God, what do I do? And then you get into a tizzy and whatever. Hey, think about ultimately what you want to do. You had the intention to make the meeting. What do? You call somebody, you tell them, can't make it. Can we reschedule? What do I do? How can I make this work? Change your focus, because we've got to be able to dream big still and know that even on our path to our dream, we are going to encounter stuff that is going to get in our way and stuff that even may stunt our progress for a while. That's just how it goes, y'all. That's just life. But don't stop. Stay focused on your goal. You may have been knocked breathless to the ground because something happened that you absolutely never imagined would happen. And I'm here to tell you very strongly, get off your ass, get up off the floor, and keep moving. Don't stop moving in the direction of your dreams. Don't waste too much time down on that floor, because if you're on the floor, you're not on your feet moving forward. And the last thing I want to tell you, number 7, is never give up. Do not let this thing called life cut you off at the knees. That's not what this life is about. That's not why we're here on earth. We are not here on earth to be destroyed. We are here on earth. We are soulful beings in human bodies, spiritual beings in human bodies, here on this earthly plane to fulfill our soul's purpose. And with that means that we have to learn a shit ton of lessons. And we look at other people's lives, maybe we say, my God, why me? Why is somebody else that seems so much more fortunate than me? Why? And I'm going to tell you this. I've talked about this in other podcasts. Some of the earlier podcasts that I think would be helpful for you to listen to is The questions you ask yourself make a huge difference in the answers that you get. If you ask low quality questions like, why me and not them, you're going to get a shitty answer. Ask yourself, okay, this is happening to me. Now what? What do I do now? If you have no idea, wait for an answer. Wait for guidance to come. Or find your resource. Adversity is inevitable, y'all. But helplessness and defeat are avoidable. It's all about perspective. It's all about the way you define who you are because of what happens to you. It's all about your ability to adjust, to reframe how you experience things that are challenging in your life. And it all comes down to your ability and your choice, not ability, but your choice to stay committed to your goals, to never give up on anything that you know is true for you, that you know you need to have. Granted, there are times where you're going in the wrong direction and you got to stop, change direction. But go change directions. Don't think too much. Change directions. I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. I hope it helps you. Adversity is tough. We all go through a lot of tough times. But I can promise you, the more you stick to your goal of resolving the things that aren't working, the more successful you will become. I promise you that. Remember, life is here for us to grow. It's not here for us to suffer. If you feel like you want to find out some area of your life, find out more information, any aspect, love, relationship, business, past lives, health, anything, call me for a reading, 404-558-3971. If you want to move forward in your life and make some changes and learn all the skills it takes, even beyond this, some real concrete to-dos, reach out, www.janisrcohen.com. Let's work together. I work with people all over the country, all over the world, and I help them achieve the greatness that's inside them. And I love that. I'm so excited to do the work that I do. Thank God I wake up every day loving what I do. And I want you to love what you do too. Take a moment, please. Go visit iTunes, rate and review my podcast, leave a few comments. The more people I get to rate and review, the better. I would really, really appreciate it. It'd be great. As always, wishing you a wonderful week, a fantastic day, and always live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.